Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're getting into something really fundamental. It's about how we adopt new ways of managing products and services.
Yeah, thinking specifically about Agile and also, the impact of AI that's coming more and more into the workplace.
Exactly. And the core idea here is that our brains learn, they adapt through actual experience and practice. It's like
Mm-hmm.
they literally rewire themselves.
Mm-hmm. It's biological. You're not just installing new software, Rob.
Right. It's about building actual connections inside our heads.
Think of it like this. Your brain's this amazing learning machine, but it learns by doing, not by someone just typing in code.
So every time we try something new, repeat it,
Yeah,
we're actually building little pathways.
you got it. Neural pathways. They're connections between your brain cells.
Hmm.
And the more you use a pathway, the stronger it gets. It makes that skill or that piece of knowledge much easier to grab onto next time.
Kind of like how an AI model gets better the more data it crunches through iterations.
That's a great analogy, yeah. It refines itself through, well, experience.
Okay, so let's dive into that adaptation process. Our sources mention three key things you need for the brain to really learn a new skill. What are they?
Well, first step is mindfulness. Basically, being aware, really paying attention to what you're doing.
Focused attention. Okay.
Then there's will. That's your internal drive. You actually have to want to change, to learn the new thing, your motivation.
Right. You need the desire. And the third,
Repetition, just doing it over and over again. Consistent practice until it starts to feel, well, more automatic.
that totally clicks. It's like learning to drive, isn't it?
Oh, perfect example.
At first, you're like hyper-focused. Mirrors, pedals, steering. Thinking about every single move. That's the mindfulness part.
Exactly. And the will is maybe wanting that freedom, the ability to just go somewhere.
Yeah, definitely. And then after weeks, months,
Mm,
you just drive. You're not consciously thinking through every step.
precisely. That's the repetition solidifying those neural pathways. It becomes almost second nature.
So that initial awkwardness when you're learning something new, like,
Hmm.
say, adopting agile principles in product management, that's normal,
Absolutely normal. It feels clunky because your brain is literally building those new connections from scratch. It hasn't paved that road yet, so to speak.
which really hits on a key issue, right? This idea that we can learn complex things super quickly.
The quick fix expectation.
Yeah. Like a half-day training on Agile for product teams is somehow enough to completely change how they work.
It's just not how our brains are wired. You can't rewire complex habits and thought processes in a few hours. It takes time, sustained effort.
People learn at different speeds, obviously,
Yeah.
but everyone needs that motivation, that will we talked about, and the patience to practice.
Right. It's less about innate talent and more about that consistent effort. And this connects to something else fascinating, how quickly we forget things.
Ah, the forgetting curve. Ebbinghaus, right?
That's the one. His studies showed we can forget like a huge chunk of new information really fast if we don't use it.
How fast are we talking?
It can be something like 50 to 80% within just 24 hours.
Wow.
And maybe up to 90% within a week if you don't review it or, crucially, apply it.
So learning without practice is, well, pretty inefficient.
Hugely inefficient. Now, if you apply what you learn pretty much right away, retention is much, much better. Even if you still forget some, the drop-off isn't nearly as steep. It just hammers home why practice after the learning is non-negotiable.
And that ties directly back to adopting things like Agile or integrating AI into how we manage products and services.
Absolutely, because these aren't just new tools or processes you learn like keyboard shortcuts.
No, it's a mindset shift, isn't it? It changes how you fundamentally think about delivering value, about working with customers, about adapting to change in product management.
That's the heart of it. Without that ongoing practice, that reinforcement, all the money spent on, say, agile training for product managers, it often just evaporates.
Because the behaviors don't stick.
Exactly. The goal is to make the new way of thinking and working the default. And
Yeah.
that just takes time. It takes repetition.
This also makes me think about certifications, especially in the Agile space for product management. There's sometimes this idea that getting the cert means you're an expert.
Definitely. That's a really common misunderstanding.
Why is it a misunderstanding, though?
Well, think about agile and product management. It's not like a fixed framework, say ITIL, where things are very defined. Agile is about adapting to unique situations, dealing with uncertainty.
Right? It's principles and values applied differently depending on context.
Exactly. A certificate shows you've learned the concepts, the terminology maybe, but
Yeah.
it can't really measure your ability to apply it effectively when things get messy or unpredictable. which they always do in product management.
Especially now with AI constantly changing the landscape, too.
Precisely. And we've probably both seen it, right? People with Agile certifications who still operate with a very traditional waterfall project management mindset.
Oh, yeah. They might use the Agile terms sprints, stand-ups, but they're essentially just mapping them onto their old project plan ways.
They're going through the motions, but they haven't made that internal shift in thinking about iterative value delivery or customer collaboration for their product.
So the will to actually change the thinking isn't there.
And if that will is missing, the certificate is just paper. It can even create a false sense of mastery, maybe making them less open to real adaptation because they think they already know Agile.
Because true Agile in product and service management is a mindset, fundamentally, not just a process checklist.
You nailed it.
So, okay, if those big one-off training blasts and just getting a cert aren't the best way to make change stick, what works better for learning Agile or how to leverage AI in product work?
Well, something called just-in-time learning seems much more effective.
Just in time. So learning what you need right when you need it.
Exactly. You learn the specific skill or piece of knowledge for the very next step you need to take in your actual work, and then you immediately go and do it. Practice it right away.
So that counters the forgetting curve we talked about.
Precisely. And it also builds confidence because you're getting these small, consistent wins. You learn something, apply it, see it work.
That makes sense. So for big shifts, like really embracing Agile across product teams or truly integrating AI effectively, it's more of a long game, step by step.
Absolutely. It has to be a longer-term, incremental approach. That's the only realistic way to create lasting change in habits and thinking.
And actually, that whole just-in-time, step-by-step approach sounds, well, it sounds pretty Agile in itself, doesn't it?
It really does. It mirrors those core Agile principles for product management: small steps, inspect and adapt, continuous improvement.
So learning becomes an ongoing thing, woven into the work, not a separate one-off event.
Yes, and that gives people the space and time they genuinely need to adjust, to let their brains do that rewiring work for managing products and services in these new ways.
It's like you said earlier, it's almost like upgrading your brain's operating system for product management, developing these really adaptive skills.
It is. And we have to acknowledge change can feel scary, big change especially.
Evolutionarily, sticking with what worked before kept us safe.
Yeah, our brains are kind of wired for pattern following. But in today's world, particularly in tech and product management, sticking rigidly to old habits like waterfall project thinking can actually be the riskier move.
So it comes back to taking those smaller, safer steps, practicing the new skills gradually.
Exactly. Give your brain the time it needs to adjust to solidify those new ways of working. It takes effort, definitely. It takes that repetition and patience we mentioned.
But fundamentally, that is how we learn. It's how our brains are built.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
You know, for anyone listening who wants a really visual and kind of funny example of this whole brain learning rewiring thing in action,
Oh, I know where you're going with this.
you should definitely check out Destin's Smarter Everyday video about the backwards bicycle.
Yes. That video is brilliant. It shows just how hard it is to unlearn something ingrained and learn a new, counterintuitive skill.
It really demonstrates that awkwardness, the repetition needed, the whole process we've been talking about. It's fascinating. We've put a link straight to it in the description for you.
Yeah, definitely go watch it. It provides a really clear, tangible picture of brain plasticity.
So please do click that link, check it out. It's a
Yep.
great watch and really helps solidify these ideas.